2 quick things before we start.
Sure.
They're called boobs ed.
Yep.
Number 2, I will never for the life of me know how to spell the word Brockovich.
Yeah, I just did a good copy and paste action, right? Copy and paste.
I still haven't recovered from algorithm. How is there no Y in that word?
I don't make the rules. Also, they're called boobs ed is from the film Erin Brockovich, which we're going to talk about at length, apparently.
I need you to tell them.
You never know.
Hey, Julian Benzavali.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Fam, come to Obsessed Fest.
Please come.
It is upon us. Look, here's the deal. We've been saying it for so long. 2,200 of your true crime best friends. During the day, it's regular convention programming, but like not regular convention programming.
Right. So it's some like true crime stuff and some things that are not true crime, like the Taylor Swift sing-along I'm doing.
Yeah, the karaoke on the main stage.
Yeah, lots of special guests. I don't know, some meet and greets, some book signings.
I mean, Payne Lindsay's doing a one-on-one talk with Rebecca Lavoie. Rabia Chaudhry's doing a whole Adnan talk.
Perfect.
She's filling you in on all the details, taking all your questions. Everybody's doing like a live podcast taping during the day. So Let's Go to Court's doing a podcast taping. Red Handed's doing one. Stranger Unexplained with Daisy Egan. And then at night is the big live show.
Yeah.
So it's Scamfluencers and Obsessed with Disappeared on Friday.
Okay.
Morbid and True Crime Obsessed on Saturday.
Oh, boy.
And then we're closing the whole thing out with this epic drag brunch on Sunday morning. It's going to be like 9 or 10 drag queens from Columbus. It's just going to be the greatest, funnest, obsessed, networkiest weekend.
Wow. When you say it all in a row like that. It's awesome.
Fam, you don't want to miss out. Get your tickets, obsessedfest.com. Also, if you want more Jillian and me, join us on the Patreon, baby.
Yeah. So did you say baby or maybe?
I said maybe, but now I wish I said baby.
Join us on the Patreon, baby. Yeah, that's where we do all of our long form series. So we're in the middle of Worst Roommate Ever.
God, they're terrible, those people.
They're horrible. This is very dark.
It is.
Love Fraud and Murder Among the Mormons, that Gacy thing on Peacock, The Jinx, The Staircase, all the ones that are like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes.
All Be Gone in the Dark, the Bigfoot one from Hulu.
Sasquatch.
You fam, you know you want to hear me talk about Sasquatch.
I know.
You get these episodes ad-free. We've got a tier where we send you stuff. We do the after parties where we just like hang out twice a month.
And just like talk about stuff. Sometimes we give you advice. Sometimes we take your questions.
It's true.
It is one whole party.
That's right. All right, girl, what are we talking about today?
Oh, my goodness. We are talking about The Real Rebel, Erin Brockovich, which was a 2020 news special and basically promotional material for a movie that's 20 years old and a show that lasted 5 episodes. Am I wrong? Is this
No, that's what we're doing.
Is this the longest commercial I've ever seen in my life? Okay, great.
She's not afraid of a fight.
Erin was Rocky in a miniskirt. If Barbie and Wonder Woman were one person.
A rebel, a fearless crusader.
It's worth the fight.
And a single mom.
When I first sat down with Erin and Elizabeth Brockovich, I wasn't so sure that this story would have a Hollywood ending.
Yeah, we wear our hotness hat with pride here, okay?
It takes a rebel to kick some, well, you know what. And now Thursday night, buckle up for The Real Rebel.
So here's the thing. Like, I do love Erin Brockovich. I love the movie. Yeah. I love the person. Yeah. I think she's cool. Although she throws attitude around at weird moments. Well, I guess we'll get to that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But right off the bat, she describes herself as a disruptor, which I fucking love.
Yeah, but at first, they're like, you've seen the movie. Right. You've seen the TV series. Right. And I'm like, there's a TV series. That's
exactly what I said. I was like, no, I haven't, narrator.
And it was with Katie Seagal.
Who I love. She's perfect.
Yeah.
She's like a trained Shakespearean actress. She's best known as being Peg Bundy.
Yeah, she was also in Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, yeah. Maybe she's better known for
more
that.
Recently. Totally. Sons of Anarchy.
Wasn't Married with Children in like the 1800s.
Yeah, and Christina Applegate has not aged a day.
It's true. She really does look amazing. But we learn, like, as anybody who saw the movie knows.
So Hinckley is a desert town with just a few hundred residents, about 2 hours northeast of Los Angeles. Someone once called it halfway between L.A. and nowhere.
Halfway between L.A. and nowhere.
Yeah, and when we get the shot of the desert, we get these birds of prey sound effects. Like, all right.
Wow, great sound effect work, GP.
I wasn't expecting to do that.
Really good work.
Like everything that I say on this podcast, it just came out.
Totally.
I don't know.
But we learn it's in this town called Hinckley, where California energy company PG&E operates a natural gas pumping station.
Right, and we learn that from 1952 to 1966, they use chromium-6. And Chromium-6 was to like make rust not happen, basically, from growing on the cooling towers, like rust and algae. But the thing about Chromium-6 is that it causes cancer anywhere in the body, and now it's in the fucking water supply.
And it just like got flushed out of this building into the local water. I mean, anyone who's seen Erin Brockovich knows this.
You just can't.
Should we just do like a watching party of Erin Brockovich rather than cover this up?
You cannot live in a world where people maybe haven't watched Erin Brockovich.
I can't. Have you seen it?
Are you kidding?
Okay, well, you always like to throw our age difference in my face, so I didn't know.
I texted you they're called boobs ed this morning.
The guy who's in that scene, by the way, his name is Jamie Harrell. He's like a gay actor that I used to kind of know.
Okay.
And he was really obnoxious about being in this movie. It was like he was one of those. He was also in a scene in that movie Hannibal, the sequel or the prequel.
That one I didn't see.
Yeah, well, he had this whole big scene with Anthony Hopkins and the whole thing got cut.
Oh,
and I loved it.
Sucks.
Sorry, Jamie.
I filmed a whole scene with Wallace Shawn and it got cut.
You guys, you know who Wallace Shawn is. Wallace Shawn is...
He's Mr. Hall from Clueless.
Yes, but he's like Princess
Bride.
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a whole scene with him when I was doing Important Things with Dimitri Martin. It was me and John Mulaney and Wallace Shawn, and the whole thing got scrapped. But another sketch I was in made it. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, in this town of Hinckley, everyone is getting sick from the water.
Everywhere I was going in this little community, somebody had asthma, reoccurring bronchitis, unusual joint aches, nosebleeds, and it didn't make sense.
The illnesses are all over the place.
Yeah. And we get the Erin Brockovich backstory. So in the early 90s, before everything happened, she was a divorced mom of 3 kids. You know, the thing that is really awesome about her, and like one of the things that makes her like a great character in the movie, is that she talked how she wanted and she dressed how she wanted. She was like, wore stiletto heels and like bustier bras.
She was a hot number.
She was a
hot number and proud of it. And why shouldn't she be?
Exactly.
She got a mouth on her. I loved it. So, but the thing is, Chris Connolly's here, as always, as per usual. But then something happens. And it's like, this is the same event that opened the 2000 film Erin Brockovich. And I'm like, this is when it occurs to me. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Either 2020 thinks we're that shallow that we only care about the story because it's a movie when it's actually a very important story.
Totally.
Or it's just a commercial for a movie that's 23 years old.
Well, it's both of those things because we see the scene from the movie.
Right. They do that a lot. Because they didn't have footage of the car accident we're about to talk about.
I gotta tell you, it's a great movie. All the scenes are welcome. And I gotta tell you another thing, 2020. If you do this again with another story where there's been like a famous movie made of it, give us more of that behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
I love it when there's people filming the filming of a scene. I could watch it all day long.
It's pretty good.
If I wasn't like an intern at Entertainment Tonight, they'd be like, there's Patrick in the basement watching the filming of the filming again.
Is that what Entertainment Tonight used to do?
Yeah.
They used to just like go on set?
Yeah, like you just see, like, I love watching like Julia Roberts like walk across the street.
You love it.
I love it.
You love it.
I love it so much. But she was basically, you know, she gets in a car wreck in Nevada and...
It's Nevada.
It's Nevada.
It's Nevada.
Oh, we're going to do this?
Yeah. Go run to the Facebook group. They'll be on my side. It's Nevada.
It's laundry and Florida.
It's laundry. It's Florida. And it's Nevada. I am right on Nevada. I will die on this fucking hill.
Fine.
I'm going to Erin Brockovich the shit out of you right now. I'm already wearing shorts and a muscle tee. A Motley Crue girls muscle tee because it's 104 degrees outside. I'm wearing shorts.
Why your boobs were so high today.
And the high pony.
I know,
it's looking like I'm wearing a costume.
I know.
I don't even look like myself in this heat.
The point is, she's in that car wreck in Nevada, and
you laugh. It's Nevada. You don't have to say it exaggerated like that. They're going to be so mad at you. Oh my God, they're going to be so mad.
By the way, I just want to say that I'm on tour right now without you.
Yeah.
And we all miss you so much.
That's very sweet.
So, like, we'll do I'll just, like, in the middle of the show, I'll be like, you guys, get ready to get mad at me. Spell the word L. And they're like, no, she's not even here. No, you talk about her.
Thanks for letting me know you're talking shit about me on the road. No, it's
on
with
the road.
love. It's with love. And I call into the Q&As.
Oh my God, it's the most
so
amazing thing. But so they convince her to take this to like a jury trial.
That didn't go the way they told me that might go. And I needed a job.
And it was Ed Masry, one of the partners at the small Southern California law firm of Masry and Vidito that represented Erin in her case, who gave her a job as a file clerk.
I guess she thought she was going to be like a lawsuit millionaire, or she was going to be a lawsuit celebrity.
Oh, God.
And she wasn't.
You promised me you wouldn't do it.
But now she like is back in California and she needs a job.
Right. So she meets Ed Masry.
No, Ed was one of her lawyers in the car lawsuit.
So Ed Masry played wonderfully by Albert Finney in the movie. Thank you, 2020.
Which is true. He was great.
He's fantastic. He was an Annie. Come on.
Yeah.
So he was a partner at the law firm that represented Erin in this case, and he gave her a job.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And so Erin was at work working on some real estate deal, and she notices medical records that are mixed in with the real estate documents.
Yeah.
And she's like, I saw it and thought, this blood work looks weird. To which I say, Erin, who's not a doctor.
I have the same note.
But who cares? Number one, who cares? Because she was
cares?
right. Two, is this not a HIPAA violation? Also, who cares?
Totally.
Because we got to get to the bottom of it. But I'm like, how does one know that blood work looks weird?
Yeah. My point here, though, is that Ed gave her a task and she was interested. As a person who hires people, this is the dream employee. Like the person, she's not just pushing paper. With all of her infinite Mensa knowledge, she could have been like, this blood work looks weird. I'm not going to say anything because I don't care because I leave in 5 minutes.
Right. I love that she was like, I need a job. She's just going to be good at the job she has. She needed a job. She wasn't going to just half-ass it.
No, and she really fucking leans in. So we meet Roberta.
Roberta Walker was one of the first residents of Hinckley approached by Erin Brockovich in her search for answers to this medical mystery.
And she comes in with these stilettos and this blonde hair, and she was like 6'9", and showing everything.
So we meet Roberta, who's a local resident, and she's one of the first people who came to this law firm because she knew there was something fucked up with the water.
And she's here with us today.
She's here with us today, and hers are the blood work that looks weird to Erin.
Right. And so Roberta says that Ed Masry told her, I'm going to send one of my little colleagues to talk to you about this. Please, God, let that be a misquote. Because he sends Erin Brockovich.
Right.
So please don't. I just can't live in a world where Ed Masry was like, I'll send that little hot number down there. Like,
totally.
No, Ed.
No,
I'm sure it's a misquote. I'm positive.
But even Roberta describes Erin as like showing up in stilettos with a blonde hair. She describes her as being 6'9".
Roberta's like, she had blonde hair. And I'm like, well, let's not do that.
No.
People can have blonde hair.
But this is where I have to know, like, wear what makes you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, if Erin Brockovich is going to do her best work in 9-inch stilettos and a push-up bra, wear that every day.
Look, you could put on a full face of makeup. If you work from home and you're not exiting your home today and you still want to put your lashes on, fucking do it. If that makes you just feel better about yourself, do it.
100%.
If you want to walk around in your wedding dress, I don't care. If you want to walk around in whatever, I don't know, some hot outfit that you're like, man, like the pandemic happened and I haven't been able to wear that. Do the dishes in that thing.
But at the same time, if you love a bathrobe, you know what I mean? Put that on too.
That too. But we've already normalized lounging in a bathrobe. Normalized lounging in like faux leather mini skirt.
If you want to wear your Brooklyn loungewear, we're going to get to them in this episode.
Right. But again, we've already normalized that.
All right, fine, great.
Normalized doing dishes in stilettos.
But Erin describes walking into Roberta's house, and she's like, I'll never forget it. This woman was so organized. She had all of her records like in a suitcase in the living room. And she's like, we just started to talk. Erin Brockovich is just like one of those people you want to talk to, and she's a great fucking listener, which, by the way, is such an underrated skill that I will never have.
I know. What was that? Sorry. No, but she actually gives a shit. You know how we're screaming on this podcast? Can someone give a shit?
Yes,
Erin Brockovich gives a shit.
100%.
So when she is sitting in Roberta's living room, when Roberta is telling her these horror stories.
I can remember at a very early age, both my daughters used to have severe nosebleeds. I mean, it was just continuous. Blood would start coming out of her eyeballs.
I mean, that is so fucking appalling. Can you play this out with me for 5 seconds?
Oh, God.
Okay. We're in my house. Daisy has a nosebleed, and she starts bleeding out her eyes like a fucking stigmata doll.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's
horrifying. I would be...
That's horrifying.
Jillian, these people are so calm, and being calm is the right thing, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not calm.
Right.
Is the whole story.
Yeah, period.
End of sentence.
Great. Roberta tells Erin, this isn't just happening to me. It's happening to all of my neighbors, like dozens of people. And maybe not nosebleeds, but everyone was getting sick. And like families were getting accused of child abuse because the kids were going to the hospital with bloody noses with no real reason.
Yeah, we meet Kathy and Leroy Bruce. This happens to them.
When would you say these flu-like symptoms first started? I want to say, well, immediately.
They suspected us of child abuse. We'd taken the kids to the emergency room with bloody noses, so regular, yeah.
They're bringing their kids in so often, the doctors think they're beating their children.
Because when the question is what happened, the answer is, I don't know.
But, like, doctors, could you do a little work and put it together? When you got Roberta on the next gurney with her fucking kids bleeding out their eyes.
Yeah, when everyone from Hinckley is coming in with these, like, inexplicable injuries and illnesses.
Just talk to each other. You know what I mean? Also, I made a note that Bruce, the dad, has the deepest voice I've ever heard.
Oh, okay, great.
That's all.
Good job, Bruce.
Very deep voice, Bruce.
Cool.
Great.
Great. We now know that it was the chromium-6 in the water water that was causing this.
Yes.
And PG&E never disclosed the chromium-6 to the residents of Hinckley, and they stayed awfully quiet when everyone was getting sick, and there were all these people trying to figure out why.
And they're also, PG&E is handing out pamphlets about chromium-3.
Not 6.
Not 6, which is apparently, like, good for you, I guess. It's, like, good for the body.
It's also deliberate fraud.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's pointing out that they knew chromium-6 was in the water, but they were saying it was chromium-3. They're lying.
Right.
And how do you not think you're going to get caught?
I know.
As a business owner, I spend my entire day trying to make sure we did everything fucking right.
But you know what it is, though? It's what Ed Masry, wonderfully played by Albert Finney, says eventually. Is like, they're a gigantic corporation. They felt untouchable. Like,
100%.
they just knew that, like, oh, these little people in this little Hinckley in this cute little town. Yeah, they can't do anything.
But also Ed Masry,
played by Albert Finney in the movie.
The real Ed Masry says, like, it was deliberate fraud on PG&E's part, and it was Erin Brockovich who discovered it.
It's true.
This is what's so great about this real Ed, like, the real guy. Like, he gave all of this up to Erin. Without Erin, none of this happens.
Yeah, and also, like, how great is it that he doesn't have to do all this work? Like, the tedious paperwork. Like, it's...
And you know what? She's easy on the eyes.
Right? Barf. Don't... She is, but, like, don't say that. She's got legs for days. I know that, but let's not focus on it. She's got great boobs, Ed, but don't worry about it.
They're called boobs, Ed.
They're called boobs, Ed. But this whistleblower comes forward, and her name is Lillian Melendez.
Saying she was instructed to destroy thousands of company records.
We packed it all up in pickup trucks and we took it to the county dump.
And you now believe that many of those documents would show what?
How much chromium was in that water?
She says we packed it all up in a pickup truck and took it down to the county dump. And she now believes that those documents would show how much chromium was in the water and how PG&E knew about it. Here's my thing. The people who run PG&E, why knowingly kill people? Why not just do the right fucking thing?
Is there not anything else that can make the algae and the rust not happen? So we can put someone on the moon, but we have to use chromium-6.
While we're on it, and not to change the subject too drastically, why was Steve delayed by 2.5 hours? Because we can't figure out how to land a plane in a rainstorm. We can get people to the moon, but we cannot land a plane in the rain. Someone explain it to me.
I can't tell you anything about planes. I know nothing about planes. They're magic as far as I'm concerned.
When I was writing about this in the Facebook group, people are like, this is why Julian doesn't fly. I hope Julian doesn't see this.
Oh my God, I'm glad I didn't see it. Anyway, I don't know the answer.
Okay, great. Moving on.
So Erin works on this case for a year, and she wants to burn it all down.
Right.
And Ed's like, hold on a second.
Ed is taking a little bit of a page out of my playbook.
Because he's like, look, they're a massive corporation, and you can't go up against them. Like, they have the money and the resources to bury Ed and Erin and their little firm. It is a small firm, and paperwork for like years and years and years.
And basically put them out of business.
And to be fair, that's how this shit usually goes.
Yeah, and real Erin Brockovich today says, I looked at him and I said...
And it's obvious people are being poisoned. I said, Ed, you disappoint me. But that was just kind of the beginning of Ed becoming the best friend I've ever had.
Ed, you disappoint me.
Yeah.
And she said it in that like classic Erin Brockovich like tone. It was perfect.
They're poisoning people and lying about it, Ed.
Right.
Ed. And then we learn, Ed died in 2005.
But the thing is, Erin says, like, this was also just the beginning of Ed becoming the best friend I ever had.
Yeah.
And I said, why did that make me burst into tears?
I know.
I was in my office, like, taking notes on this, and I burst into fucking tears.
They're such an unlikely duo, but they like came together and did good work.
Because I kept thinking, like, is this going to be the expose where we find out what a dick this guy actually was? And it's not. Like, she fucking loved this guy, and he was great to her, and he died in 2005.
Yeah. So then, they just breeze right by it. They're like, in 1992, they filed the lawsuit, and it was settled.
We've all seen the movie!
Right, it was settled in late 1996, and I'm like, are we not going to talk about the case at all? And then in my head, I just hear Chris Connolly like, well, lucky for you, you can learn all about it in the Oscar-winning 2000 film aptly titled Erin Brockovich, starring Julia Roberts and Albert Finney.
Can we just give me 1 minute of your life? Was that not an excellent movie?
So many minutes.
I know.
But let's get, what's another one?
Was it not an excellent movie?
It's a great movie.
It's so good.
She's still, I'm going to say something real controversial here.
Holy shit. Be fucking careful.
A couple things are true.
Okay, great. Here we go.
One.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I watched it on a plane recently. It's not bad.
Great. Where are you going? If you were going to sit here and look at me.
I'm going to look you right in the face.
And tell me she didn't deserve the Academy Award?
Over Ellen Bernstein and Requiem for a Dream? Absolutely not.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. I saw both of those movies in the movie theater.
No one is ever seeing Requiem ever again, so it's hard to go back and think about it. Ellen Bernstein should have won. Ellen Burstyn, yeah. Julia Roberts won because it was a big, like, flashy movie. I don't know.
I thought she won. Well, when she and I become best friends, I'm going to tell her you think she shouldn't have an Academy Award.
Words are bullshit.
I know.
Because how are you going to compare Erin Brockovich and Requiem for a Dream? They're apples and oranges.
It's true.
Give me a break.
But we learned
The lawsuit was filed late 1992, 634 plaintiffs, and I believe it settled late 1996.
There were 600 plaintiffs in this lawsuit. It was settled in 96. I said, Erin says it sounds like she's reciting a muffin recipe. Like, she's so over it.
Wait, what? Does that mean like she knows it really well or she doesn't know it at all?
I think what it means, no, she knows it so well and she's over it because she's on to the next thing. Like, the thing that we learned about Erin Brockovich.
Why'd you say muffin recipe then?
She recites the number of people in this lawsuit like she's reciting, like she's bored by it. You know what I mean? Like she's
never. It sounds like that's like an idiom that I just don't know.
Have you ever made muffins before?
I don't know. I guess if I have to think about it this long, then I haven't.
But we learned that when the case was settled in 96, it was the largest lawsuit of its kind in U.S. history, and it resulted in a $333 million settlement. And Erin got a bonus of $2.5 million. We're going to learn later. I learned right now because I did the math in this moment.
Yeah.
If you take $333 million and divide it by 600, which is the number of people in the lawsuit, that's only $500,000 per person.
But after the law firm's fees, each resident got about $300,000.
That's not a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's not like
for like a family of 5 going through. Like, there's no amount of money.
Like, that money is meant to. I mean, that money is meant to be used for lots of things. But like, they got to pay their hospital bills with that shit. For all, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like PG&E pay the hospital bills and here's another bonus which still isn't enough.
No,
but here's just a funny little tidbit, factoid. When you Google, which I did, 333 million divided by, Google suggests how much did each Hinckley resident get. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's not a lot of money, and we'll come back to that later. And I just said in this moment, we come back from a commercial, and Erin Brockovich is standing outside of PG&E, just looking at it.
People have died. Gets me riled up. Pisses me off.
She's just like muttering to herself. She goes, people have died. It gets me riled up. It pisses me off.
Yeah, she's like walking around. She's like kicking the dirt.
Totally. And I said, be the Brockovich you want to see in the world, people.
You know,
if we ever do a season 2 of Let the Women, we got to get her.
Oh, that's right.
Wouldn't she be great?
She would be great. I would just be silent.
She would just let her do the talk.
Go ahead. She'd put me in my place a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did.
Right. No.
She'll find out. She'll find out and she'll make me pay.
Will you say to her on mic or off mic, they're called boobs ed?
Like 7.
Okay. Oh, that's daring. I can't wait.
At least 1.
I think you should definitely tell her.
Totally backtracked.
You should tell Erin Brockovich that you think Julia Roberts doesn't deserve the Oscar. Anyway, we get the Erin Brockovich.
Great.
We get the Erin Brockovich backstory. We learn she was born in Lawrence, Kansas. She's the youngest of 4 kids.
I have a learning disability, dyslexia, and oftentimes was seen as different and stuff. And I'd be the first to raise my hand in class, and I knew, but when it became written, I would turn things around and I would fail. I was always told I could be nothing because I didn't learn in that standard of like conformity.
And we learned that she was dyslexic.
Yeah.
Like Daisy. Daisy's dyslexic. This was like a big, real fucking struggle for her.
Yeah. She said that she was always told she'd be nothing because she didn't learn like the other kids. And ADHD and dyslexia are not at all the same. But like that's another, like you just learn differently.
Yeah.
And I felt pretty seen in that moment.
Totally.
I was told by like a couple math teachers that I was basically like an idiot.
Oh,
and
good. Great.
Yeah. I was told by like, I had some great teachers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like, don't get it twisted. But I had some teachers that were just like, they saw me as like the problem child. And just I was like a nuisance. Because I didn't like learn the normal way. I was like all right, well, we'll do it and we'll deal with it. Like I was like a problem to be dealt with.
Yeah. Teachers, please.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Just please don't do that. But her mom instills in her this idea that she's going to have to find her stick-to-itiveness.
She learns the word stick-to-itiveness.
So I did not know stick-to-itiveness was a word in the dictionary. That's a real word.
It's a real word. I love that word.
I did not know that. We get the definition. It's a propensity to follow through in a determined manner, dogged persistence, born of obligation and stubbornness.
Yeah.
And Erin goes...
It was like looking at myself in a mirror in the dictionary.
Totally.
It was like her.
But right, that's what she said. She goes, I'm dogged, I'm persistent, and even to this day she hears her mom.
I know.
But then we learn about her dad.
Okay, so
yeah,
Erin...
this gets real serious real fast.
Just like, let's take a breath, right? Erin explains that she had a very strong sense of right and wrong. So she had the stick-to-itiveness, but she's like all about right and wrong. And so she tells the story, the reason she got that way.
When I was in high school, I got in trouble for telling a lie with my dad. I had decided to skip school, lied about it. I just got busted. And so he grounded me for an entire school semester. It was awful.
She's in major, major trouble with her dad. He grounds her for a whole semester. Fine.
Wait, no, not fine. He grounds her for a semester. That's unreal. And by the way, Dad, that's putting a lot more work on yourself. Now you're going to deal with that kid.
Now you have to monitor her every move. Erin Brockovich, who doesn't play by the rules.
I sent Daisy to her room for 6 minutes and I can't do it.
Oh, God.
I know.
Wait till she's a teenager.
I know.
Good luck.
I'm actually just kidding. Steve and I have gotten very good with the discipline. But it's really tough.
Still, teenagers are a whole different animal.
Yeah, and follow through with discipline is very hard. And a semester, that's like child abuse.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's too. Well, I don't know if she was locked in her room. I mean, I'm sure maybe she just
food.
couldn't go.
Just bread and water.
Hold on a second. Maybe it was the end of the semester. Now, being grounded is so stupid.
Why are you on his side now?
I just said being grounded is so stupid. Have a conversation with your kid and move on. I'm not a mother. I'm not allowed to have an opinion on any of this.
No, it's true.
But then the reason I wanted to breeze past the grounding thing is because it's like, Guy, you got to take a deep breath.
By the way, I would love to know that his name is Guy Brockovich.
Bra Brockovich. So he writes Erin Brockovich a letter. She's in high school.
Yeah. It's so weird that we're talking about Erin Brockovich right now. It's so weird.
That's why it's on the calendar.
Called Boobs Ed.
They're called boobs, Ed.
So he writes her this letter about how
you, your brothers and sister, and I must learn to honestly and freely communicate with each other. And if we can't, then we have torn the finest fibers of our relationship, which is the greatest gift you will have on this earth. And we want you to develop into an admired, honest, and respected woman.
They are ripping apart the fibers of the whole familial relationship.
This is insane. Erin immediately takes it to heart. She immediately internalizes that.
Which is shocking because she seems, and I'm totally just assuming here, that she's the type of person that would be like, ooh, you're coming on too strong. I don't respond well to that.
No. We see pieces of the letter. She's crying, telling us the story. It clearly means a lot to her.
Yeah.
But parents don't do that. That's a lot. I mean, who knows what was going on in that house? Maybe it was after years.
We're making
and years,
a whole lot of assumptions right here.
Maybe after years of everyone lying to each other, everyone getting away with everything, the dad finally wrote a letter and put his foot down.
But to me, it's like either you ground her for a month or you write the heavy-handed letter.
Yeah.
To do both is a lot.
It's very much a lot.
Yeah.
But we learned she goes to college, she graduates, she moves out to California, gets a job at Kmart.
Yeah.
Immediately goes into the beauty pageant system.
She won Miss Pacific Coast.
I know she did. Oh.
Wasn't that nice? Although I hate beauty. I mean, if you want to do a beauty pageant, do it. I just feel like they're a little manipulative.
Yeah, and for sure. But she seems happy. Erin Brockovich is happy to have been Miss Pacific Coast.
Yeah, good for her.
And I ended up getting married and having my children. Been married and divorced and kids and married and divorced and married and divorced.
Then gets a bunch of divorces.
Yeah, she goes married and divorced and married and divorced.
She had 4 divorces total, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, maybe you just learn that marriage just isn't for you. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
And she, right now, when this was made, 2021, she still looks like she's 28.
Yeah.
She's got 8 more marriages ahead of her.
I feel like these stupid men want to tame Erin Brockovich. She's a wild horse. You got to let her gallop. What? She's wild horses.
And you give me shit for saying it was like she was reciting a muffin?
I don't know. But horses gallop. I don't know where the muffin thing is.
I don't know.
But now I'm going to say it every time.
We're having a real weird recording today.
It's been a weird fucking day. It's 1,000 degrees outside. Plus some personal things that I'm not going to discuss into a microphone.
Oh, God.
So here's the timeline. The car accident happens. Erin works at the law firm.
Yeah.
The lawsuit happens, this historic settlement, and then the movie. Then Hollywood comes knocking.
And you know what? We meet this woman, Pamela Dumond. She's a chiropractor. She's got purple hair. I kind of love her.
Yeah, she treated Erin after the car accident, and Erin just told Pam everything that was going on, like the lawsuit, the poisoning.
She's kind of like me. Like, you can work on me, but I'm going to talk the whole time.
Right. This is also half therapy session, am I wrong?
This is where I just get to talk and you have to listen,
and this is just included in your fee grade.
Totally.
So she's like,
Pam would do all this work and ask me questions. What's the ice chest in the back of your car? Where I had a bunch of dead frogs?
So she told me these stories trying to handle being a single mom and help these people that had been poisoned in this small town in California. And I'm like, Erin, you know what? Your story would make a great movie.
All of this put together, Pamela, the chiropractor, is like, this sounds like a movie. And also, my next client is a movie producer. Let me see what I can do.
So what happened? The next client comes in to get their muscles worked on or whatever, and Pam pitches Erin Brockovich's story to this producer who just wants 10 minutes to themselves.
I know. That woman's name is Carla. Carla tells another producer who is here. So, like, this other producer is basically says that Carla said to her, girl, Erin is like if Barbie and Wonder Woman were one person.
Yeah, and then it's like she was like Rocky in a miniskirt. And I say, are we going to stop with this?
That's exactly what I
Because I feel like it goes against what Erin Brockovich, like everything she does and is and all that. Like, can we stop with this? She was a this and a this.
I know.
She's just a person wearing clothes. It's like she's just a person doing some fucking work. Can we stop with the Rocky in a miniskirt? Give me a break.
That is so stupid.
Also, was she a boxer? No, Rocky was a boxer, so she's actually not Rocky in a miniskirt. What are you talking about?
Tough as nails. But the thing is, it works. Like, the movie rights are sold. We see her check for $30,000.
And also, is that all Hollywood?
Well, that's just for the rights. I'm assuming she's got back end, you would think.
I mean, I think Erin Brockovich would negotiate that, yes.
Yeah.
Like, Erin Brockovich specifically would negotiate.
I mean, it's literally like she works with an attorney. Meanwhile, Ed, the attorney, would always tease her, like, should we actually do this and who should play you? She's got a great idea.
Goldie Hawn!
She wants Goldie Hawn. She's like, I want someone fun. It's either Jillian Pensavalle or Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn by a mile.
But like Goldie
I'm
Hawn,
an actress.
Yeah,
of course I have emotions. I'm an actress. I have all of them.
But Goldie Hawn would have been great, but it would have been a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
What Ed was saying was,
He said, I don't care who plays the part as long as it's not Julia Roberts. Her mouth is not foul enough. Her boobs are not big enough. It's just not going to happen.
I don't care who plays you. It just can't be that Julia Roberts chick.
Anybody but her.
And I'm kind of like, Erin, you tell that story a lot, I bet, and it's not as charming to Julia as you think it is.
Because Ed's whole thing is her mouth isn't foul enough, her boobs aren't big enough, it's just not going to happen. To which I say, it's called movie magic, Ed.
Exactly.
It's called acting, Ed.
And also, can you imagine anyone else playing Erin Brockovich?
They're called boobs, Ed, only I made it about this.
I was with you the whole way. Were you explaining that to me or to them?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
Just saying it out loud.
I'm just asking.
Want to be heard.
Can you imagine, like, Erin Brockovich is a piece of pop culture iconography.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Didn't deserve that Academy Award according to you.
I'm just saying. Ellen was a contender.
Okay,
Ellen
great.
Burstyn was a contender.
Great.
So Julia Roberts is cast in the movie, and as Chris Connolly tells us, it's directed by motion picture prodigy Steven Soderbergh.
I know.
And I'm like, where am I? Are we going to get back to the victims and those poor kids with the nosebleeds? Are we going to give a shit about them, or are we just talking about the movie magic and the boobs?
The whole thing is we learned in 5 minutes we're just here to do an advertisement for this ABC show about Erin Brockovich that we're going to learn about in 5 seconds.
That lasted about 4 minutes.
I know. But in the movie, Erin Brockovich is telling us that Steven Soderbergh calls her and is like, hey, we want you to do this cameo. And she's like, I don't want to be on camera, which I believe. That sounds authentic to me.
Yeah.
And of course, like this scene is famous where like Erin Brockovich, the person, is playing the waitress at a diner, waiting on Julia Roberts playing her.
Right.
Julia's playing Erin, but I'm Erin playing the waitress, and my name tag was Julia. I'm like, you don't do this to a dyslexic. Do you understand? I mean, you just don't do this.
Julia Roberts is playing
me,
right.
and I'm too dyslexic to handle
right.
this.
And in the back, and behind Julia Roberts is the real Ed Masry, also at the diner.
And like, you know, Erin Brockovich has this thing where she's like, looking on my own life like that was very crazy.
Yeah.
What a surreal fucking moment that must have been.
And she does say, like, there wasn't really that much creative license.
Yeah.
That was really me. And it was, Erin Brockovich says, especially, at least in how she was portrayed, that it was super accurate.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that's because the movie was like a huge smash hit.
Sure.
And she was made to look very
Was she going to bite the hand that feeds her?
Right, exactly. I wanted to make Erin Brockovich too.
But also, I feel like Erin Brockovich would like fucking raise hell.
Of course.
If it wasn't accurate.
And honestly, why make anything up? Like, if the story is that good, like, you know what I mean? It's all right there.
Exactly. She also didn't know that the title of the movie would be her name.
How crazy is that? I mean, honestly, like, that's kind of a risk. You know what I mean?
It's true, because it's not a but it's a great name.
It's so great. It's perfect.
You know?
It's perfect.
God, you love this movie so much.
I fucking love
You're coming alive just talking about it. You love it. Anyway, now Julia Roberts wins the Oscar for it. And
much to your chagrin.
Okay.
Much to your chagrin.
I would tell you to watch Requiem again for proof, but I wouldn't wish that on you.
I can't watch that
Don't
movie
watch it again.
again.
That
God
music,
damn it.
oh my God, it's so good, but like never again. So basically, the more famous Julia Roberts gets, and Julia Roberts is already incredibly famous at this point, but because her like star was rising in the sense that she actually won won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Erin Brockovich, the person, is getting more and more famous.
And I do think, too, that, like, of course the movie helped. But, like, besides the fact that, like, Julia Roberts wins the Oscar, Erin Brockovich did something amazing that I think people are happy to talk about.
And she's also great on camera.
And she's great on camera.
Yeah, because she's like, she knows how to have a conversation. She's super passionate.
Yeah.
No one knows the case better than her, and that's true. And so she's really the best and only person to talk to about it.
And she becomes, like, you've made it, especially, like, in late 90s, 2000s TV, when you become a verb. Oh, you're gonna get Erin Brockovich.
But even throughout the years, like, they quote Better Call Saul,
I know.
which is a new television show, which is
yeah.
fantastic, by the way. But he's like, we can Erin Brockovich the shit out of this case. The fact that
You know what that
years
means.
later,
You know.
and you know exactly what that means. But 20 years later, that name, because it's a great name.
Totally.
And everyone knows what it means.
And even Erin is like,
we're still talking about this, and that movie came out 21 years ago. It was almost before its time because it was about environmental pollution that we are in the throes of today.
It was ahead of its time. Like, it was about ground pollution. It was about pollution. And, like, we weren't really having climate change conversations in the year 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what's going on in the world right now.
Right. Too much talk, not enough action is what I say about environmental stuff. So Erin Brockovich gets this big, like, Hollywood fairy tale, but the people of Hinckley didn't get that big, fancy Hollywood ending.
Which is weird because in the movie they did.
Exactly.
So, like,
that's a problem.
That was really sad, like, to find out what actually became of these people in this town.
Yeah. So it's April 2021, and Erin meets up with Roberta, who's like the first person that she spoke to and started putting all this together.
And she's the one that is played by Mark Helgenberger in the movie.
Yeah.
And
they made her a white woman, too. It's like, you guys,
totally,
come on, man.
That was just fucking brutal for me to see.
What are you doing?
You know, because that character, like, you remember that she's the one who has the hysterectomy.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I don't have a uterus, am I even a woman? I fucking love this movie, Jillian.
Yeah, I know
I
you
love
do.
this movie
I know you
so
do.
much. And that scene where she sits down with her and, like, says how much money they're going to get, and, like, the look on Mark Helgenberger's face is like, it's going to change my life forever. That's not what happened.
It's not what happened. And Roberta Walker isn't white. It's like, can we please, if we're going to tell these people stories, can you just tell the story?
It's kind of just unbelievable.
I don't understand it.
But Roberta now is saying, like,
the money did not fix the problem for me, not at all. I didn't even receive a fraction of that. If I had that much money, I wouldn't be working 3 jobs. It made it look like we won, and we really didn't.
If I had that much money now, I wouldn't be working 3 jobs.
It's so sad because Erin and Roberta have to meet up outside next to some fence because the town has been destroyed.
Yeah.
It's a total ghost town. So not only did the money really not do anything, everyone had to abandon their homes because PG&E never admitted to any wrongdoing.
Right.
And then never changed anything.
And so what happened was, because everybody knew the ground, you can't live there because everyone's getting sick and dying, all of the houses lost all of their value.
Right.
So PG&E started buying up the homes. They were the only buyers for these people who also couldn't stay there because the groundwater is polluted.
Yeah.
So they had to sell their homes to the company that was killing them at like a fraction of what the homes were worth.
Yeah. And so in the movie, the character that Roberta's based on is awarded $5 million.
Yeah.
Roberta's like, yeah, no one went to court. No one went to jail. I didn't get $5 million. You know what I got?
I've had 5 stomach surgeries, 3 or 4 breast surgeries. Both my daughters had to have hysterectomies, fibromyalgia. My one daughter has lupus. My husband had prostate cancer. And we all have asthma.
Her family is constantly sick.
And then she's one of the ones who has to sell her house to PG&E, and she thought she was safe. She buys a house 6 miles away, and they explained to us like what the plume of the underground like well water situation is. And basically, she thought if she moved far enough away, she would be away from like the contaminated groundwater, but that plume underground just keeps growing and growing. So she buys her dream home with her settlement money, then has to take that dream home and sell that home to PG&E. She loses everything.
Yeah, because the chromium-6 is spreading.
Yes.
So you have to travel farther and farther away from Hinckley, but that also means that more people are at risk.
Right. And so we learn now that like everything in Hinckley closed, the gas station, the store, the school. Hinckley is down. It's a total ghost town. They started with over 3,000 residents. They're now down to 300.
The footage of it actually looks like a set.
It really does look like a set. And we meet one of the holdouts, this woman who still lives there.
Yeah, so she's like, I love it here.
I'm surrounded on 3 sides with open desert as far as I can see. I have an 80-mile vista on a clear day. I love it here.
I wanted clean air, I wanted peace and quiet, and I just wanted to get away from all the traffic.
I gotta tell you, she's giving me strong Daisy Tipton vibes. I can see
she is
in the way that she like just wanted to get away from the traffic.
Yeah, so she's like, I don't know what anyone's talking about. She
Yeah.
says the words, I love it here.
Yeah.
She wanted clean air and peace and quiet. She has a reverse osmosis unit under her sink to help her get clean water. Unfortunately, her dogs have tumors.
And the tumors are the size of boulders.
A basketball.
Yeah, you can see them through the dog's skin.
It's heartbreaking. But she's
yeah.
like, well, it's quiet and I love it. And I'm like, Penny, I don't know your life, but what are you doing?
I know. I mean, she's like an old lady. Like, how?
I know
you
that
know?
like it's hard. I know everything's hard, but like she's like, yeah. So now the dogs drink the same water I drink, and I'm like, wait, they were getting the other water.
I know.
Before the osmosis thing.
I know. Do you just turn on the reverse osmosis machine?
I don't understand.
What does that even do?
I don't get it.
Science is amazing.
Oh, that poor pup.
I know.
I hated that image. Ugh.
It was shocking. The tumor in that dog's side was shocking.
Yeah, but he seems very happy.
Yeah.
He or she. So PG&E claims that they're working on not poisoning people anymore.
Right. Well done, PG&E.
I mean, God, they're trying. The old college try. So what they're doing is they're taking the chromium-6 water.
We got to talk about this because science actually is fucking amazing.
One method involves pumping the tainted water onto alfalfa fields, where the vegetation converts the chromium-6 into non-toxic chromium-3.
They're using the chromium-6, the bad water, to water vegetation. And I'm like,
But they're saying the science is that the vegetation is actually turning the chromium-6 into the non-toxic chromium-3.
Which they spent all this money telling everyone was really good for you?
Yes. I'm just saying, if that's true that alfalfa sprouts can turn chromium-6 into chromium-3,
Great.
That's like Jesus turning water into wine.
Wow.
I know.
Delicious. I just don't understand. I mean, that's great that science can do
you
that,
don't seem
and that's
happy
awesome.
about it at all.
But I still want to know the answer to why do you have to use chromium-6 at all?
I agree.
It's a question I have. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just curious.
Yeah, if chromium-3 is doing the job, why you got to do the 6? You know what I mean?
How do you get chromium-3? Do you need chromium-6 to do it? And can you stop poisoning people?
These are all fair questions.
Thank you so much.
Should Julia Roberts have won the Oscar?
Maybe.
And say the word L-A-U. And why do I get in trouble for that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why. Erin Brockovich is now a clean water advocate because I have to tell you, we have a major water issue in this country.
Yeah.
Major. And so she's sort of at the helm of this, and she's trying to really get people, like, she didn't stop caring about this thing because Hollywood came calling.
Right.
She's made it her life.
And that's what's so amazing about it. And like, that's what makes Erin Brockovich such an amazing person. She didn't try to go like become an actress or like a co-host of The View. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She
co-host of The She 100. I'm sure she had that phone call. And I'm sure she gets it every once in a while. Erin, what are you doing?
We're going to get the true crime documentary about the cultural phenomenon that is The View. And I will tell you,
and the revolving seat of like, just no one can last.
I will watch the living shit out of
if
that
they don't call
documentary.
you, if only to just talk about the Elizabeth Hasselbeck Rosie O'Donnell fight and like anything shitty that Meghan McCain's ever said.
I could literally, like a drag queen, recite that whole thing in costume. I know what they were both wearing. I can see it in my head now.
I know you can.
And you know what I always say?
What?
Elizabeth Hasselbeck looked like a fucking $1 million that day, and I fucking hate her.
Well, all of those things can be true, right? She can say shitty things, and she can look pretty good. You know? What am I supposed to do?
Oh, Hasselbeck, I hope you're not paid at the 5. Hey, guess what, fam? We're going back to Hollywood.
Oh, or are we? Like for just a very quick stint.
But it's the whole reason this episode of 2020 got made.
Unbelievable.
Because, well, number one, we're in a golf cart on a back lot. Those are always my favorite shenanigans.
Yeah.
Erin Brockovich is not into it. They're like driving around in a golf cart in a back lot, and everyone wants it to be like kooky, and Erin just wants to get where they're going.
Yeah, let's go.
I know.
She's got stuff to do.
Totally.
And she does. That's
true.
the thing. So we're on the set of The Rebel starring Katie Seagal.
But because it was this woman, Krista, who was like the showrunner of Grey's Anatomy. She like invented Grey's Anatomy.
No, she did not.
She didn't?
I haven't watched a single second of that show, but everyone on Earth knows that it's a Shonda Rhimes production.
Oh, right.
So
How did I get that?
I don't know why Krista is sitting here being like, I invented Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
I don't think Shonda Rhimes, to quote Gretchen Wieners, I don't think Shonda Rhimes would be too happy to hear about this.
Because Krista is here to say that
I'm going to go meet Erin Brockovich. She's amazing to me.
And we just got to talking. It was supposed to be an hour meeting. I don't even think an hour. It went 2 and then 3 and then 4.
Listening to Erin talk about her family, listening to her talk about her causes, it was like Erin is messy and she's flawed and she has 3 ex-husbands. It's like a writer's dream.
She's obsessed with Erin Brockovich. She's like me talking about the Rosie O'Donnell Elizabeth Hasselbeck fight. She's like levitating off the seat.
She's basically like, Erin Brockovich is a fucking mess. It's a writer's dream. And Krista tries really hard to be like the same as Erin.
Yes.
So Krista's like, me and Erin are cut from the same cloth.
Right.
I did well in school. I was a fall down drunk.
Yes, that's true.
But we both struggled in school. She had dyslexia. I was drinking.
Right.
I am now sober for 27 years. And then 2020 tries to do this thing where they're comparing Krista being a teenager who drank a lot to Erin Brockovich's dyslexia. And Erin being like so crazy for wanting to help people. What a rebel. She gives a shit. And I'm like, this is such a leap. And Krista
really
is very proud of herself. And I cannot not imagine Shonda Rhimes is happy about this.
No, and like the whole point is that they're making this show with Katie Sagal called Rebel, which is based on Erin Brockovich. And I Googled it. I'm like, how have I never heard of this? I love Katie Sagal.
Yeah,
I love Erin Brockovich.
Yeah, the show was like made for you.
It was made for me, except it only lasted 5 episodes before being canceled.
Andy Garcia's in it. It feels
is that
like
right?
Yeah, I think he's the Ed Mazur. I don't know. But I thought I saw an Andy Garcia clip.
I don't know. All I know is that like it looks really bad. Like Katie Sagal is a goddess, and like the show looks terrible.
A lot of good ingredients were there, but for some reason they overcooked it or whatever. I don't know what the analogy. They couldn't make the muffin.
It's so funny too because we get this meeting of Katie Sagal, Erin Brockovich, and this Krista woman, and they have nothing to say to each other.
Yeah, they're just like, let's talk about how great the word relentless is. And I'm like, you and I can't do that word because we're still traumatized from the series Relentless that you can hear on our Patreon. But then all of a sudden, we veer, and I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah.
We're talking about Erin Brockovich's daughter's drug use.
Yes, we're back. So we go to...
This isn't any of our business.
No, it's none of our business. We go to commercial, we come back, we're with daughter Elizabeth. And my note here is Elizabeth and Erin obviously love each other, but when they sit down for this interview, they are like opposing magnets. You know, like if you put magnets the wrong way, they on the opposite side of the couch.
Elizabeth.
Yes, dear.
Come closer, my dear.
Can't wait.
I'm going to sit here and be quiet.
Okay. We all know that's a lie.
We all know that's a lie.
Okay, well. Yikes. So we're talking about Elizabeth's substance use disorder. I think it's none of our business, but they all disagree because it's also in the television show. So now we have to spend the last 15 minutes of this documentary talking about it. And I think
the thing that I will say is that Erin is like talking about in 2000 when the movie comes out and wins all the Academy Awards, what her life was like as a 9-year-old. Because she's like, suddenly my mom was super famous. Like she was never around and like the phone was ringing off the hook and we couldn't get her attention. Like it was a whirlwind for a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And that really is interesting to think about like the whole movie was about this woman who wanted to do like good in the world and was struggling with that work-life balance.
Right.
And then like all of a sudden the movie comes out and like that makes that be like a real thing.
Again?
Yeah. Elizabeth was like, I was trying to find myself. Like, am I a good girl? Am I a bad girl? Am I a rebel? Who am I? And then Erin's like, well, yeah, but what about that time you and your friend videotaped yourself dropping acid in 9th grade?
What? They were stealing money. They were lying. And Elizabeth's like, oh, there are lies I'll take to my grave. I'm never going to tell my mom about some of the shit I lied about. What are you, crazy?
My mom's Erin Brockovich. You see that movie?
But honestly, Erin Brockovich is the best mother to rebel against.
Yes. Because she gets it.
Because
totally.
she gets it, and I feel like she's not going to ground her for a month. She's not going to write her an angry letter.
Oh my God.
You know, like I feel like she'll be pissed.
Right.
And she'll be like, well, we have to work this shit out.
Right.
But you won't get an angry letter from Erin. She uses her verbal
and
words.
like, you know, Elizabeth goes to a rehab facility in Malibu and then she like joins the army. She like gets her life together. But then we learn that like she's 30 and she's got 4 kids and her oldest kid has special needs and she herself has been through several divorces.
Yeah.
She's a chip off the old block.
Like mother, like daughter.
Like mother, like daughter.
But so it really ends with like Erin Brockovich's final words and call to action because she says, and this is true, like what happened in Hinckley happens all the time.
Will we be the people who can care enough about each of these communities to take action? I've been teaching one very simple concept. Superman is not coming. If you were waiting for someone to come save you and clean up the water, I'm here to tell you, no one is coming to save you.
Superman's not coming. No one's coming to save you. You got to do it yourself.
And that's like the big thing. Like that's the name of her like second book of Superman Isn't Coming.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And she's just saying that like you have to be the Superman. If I'm Erin Brockovich and I look hot in these like mini skirts and high heels and bustier bras and I'm going around like letting the women doing the work, namely me, you got to do that too.
And she's inspired women all over the world in Kenya and China and Michigan.
Yeah.
And so she basically like tells us to get off our asses and do some work. She's like, you're the missing piece in all this. You want to see change, do it yourself. And I'm like, all right. I will, Erin. I'm sorry. I don't have stilettos though. Can I wear my?
You look
Can I
great
wear
in
my
stilettos,
Converse?
though.
You think?
I think so.
All right, I'll try it one day.
Oh, girl, we did the 2020 Erin Brockovich thing.
Yeah, the real rebel.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, fam, do me a favor. Come see us at Obsessed Fest.
Yeah, why don't you?
Listen, it's going to be 2,200 of your true crime best friends. We're all going to be at the Hyatt Regency in Columbus, Ohio, September 30th to October 2nd. It's going to be days full of, like, panels and meet and greets and meetups. It's you and me and Ellen and Joey and Amber Hunt, Maggie Freeling, Daisy Egan, Bob Ruff, Rabia Chaudhry, the Let's Go to Court ladies, the Red-Handed ladies, the Generation Y guys, Tim and Lance from Missing.
And more people that have not been announced yet, so wow.
And Payne Lindsay and other people that are coming. There's a lot that's not been announced. At nighttime, we're doing live shows. It's Obsessed with Disappeared and Scamfluencers on Friday, Morbid and True Crime Obsessed on Saturday, ending the whole thing with a big drag brunch. It's really just about bringing the community of our listeners together. That's what it is. We have tons of solo meetups scheduled, so come by yourself. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Right after the big grand opening, we have a solo meetup for people to meet, become best friends. We were talking with Sasha Armad. She's going to be running those about
Sasha's the best.
little games we're going to play in the solo meetups to like break the ice and get people to make friends and meet each other.
So you come, quote, alone, but you're not coming alone.
No. So get your tickets at obsessedfest.com. Join us on the Patreon.
Yeah. So we're doing Worst Roommate Ever right now. We also did Puppet Master.
Yes.
And The Vow and Heaven's Gate and The Jinx and The Staircase and Tiger King and all that good
All
stuff.
Be Gone in the Dark, The Staircase Serial, Lorena, the Menendez murder one, the Gacy thing from Peacock.
Gacy thing on Peacock.
The Scott Peterson Might Be Innocent one.
Yeah.
It's all of the episode by episode series. We love making the content. Listen, I'm putting this out there. I'm going to say this on behalf of the listeners because I watched the whole thing on tour. That Woodstock 99 thing, we got to do it.
Oh, it's on the calendar already.
It is crazy bananas.
It's crazy. It's better than the HBO one.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. We'll get to that eventually.
I move things around on the calendar with
Oh,
Natalie.
really?
We're going to get to it.
Stay tuned for our funny and hilarious outtakes. One last thing, follow us on TikTok. We're making all this content there now.
Oh, that's right. What are we on TikTok?
It's True Crime Obsessed Pod on TikTok.
Okay, great.
So go find us, follow us. We're doing lots of stuff.
Okay,
it's gonna be great.
Fun.
All right, fam, we love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
I don't think I'll ever forget the confessions and the horror of what he told us. It was such an extraordinary thing to have this insight into somebody who is just so incredibly evil.
The devil's in my head, the rage. I had control, and that's what it all comes down to, is control of those bitches. I just loved killing women, maybe. I didn't have no morals, conscience didn't stop me. I want to be the best serial killer out there.
There used to be one set of famous people, and we all knew who they were. Now there's like truly famous people that I've never heard of.
Yeah, yes. Wow. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there was a time back in the year 2000 where Julia Roberts
She was the queen of
world.
the planet. Family, you do not understand. If you don't understand, you don't understand. Like Julia Roberts you did what she fucking said.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I'm getting really worked up about Julia Roberts.
You just have to watch Erin Brockovich tonight.
I have to go home and watch it. I love that movie. So it's my time away from my kids.
Oh my God.
I used to see all the movies.
Yeah, you saw like a lot of stuff in the theater.
Yeah, when I was in college especially, there was an indie movie theater down the road. I saw all the indie movies.
Yeah.
And I saw everything. My best friend Eric was like a film major.
Yeah.
So we would go to the movies. I didn't drink. I was just kind of like hanging out. I would go to the movies all the time.
I love going to the movies, but
Yeah.
now everyone kicks their chair all the time.
Okay.
That's
Did
where I am.
anything good happen this week?
No.
Okay.
Not a single thing.
Not a single thing.
It, like Fiona and Mike exist, but other than
Yeah,
that,
nope.
I'm really struggling this week. Just saying it. Speaking of therapy. Anyway.